Characters are developed and a special plot is created for them to insert the message we want to convey. It is very important to note here, and warning, it is the third plot in the telenovela. Uh, it is not the main one, not even the second plot. The most important thing is that the telenovela be conceived, produced, written, and directed as a totally commercial telenovela with the highest rating possible to have the highest exposure possible. It should not be boring, lecturing, or judgmental. This chart is interesting because this is the dramatic scheme of whole Latin American telenovelas. We have a remote past that happened 25 years ago, then produced a status quo, a present that is very, very, very fragile, and is going to be broken by a trigger that can be a wedding, a murder, a catastrophe, and this trigger is going to provoke a process of chaos, of disorder. And the first plot is going to be the big stars, of course, and there would be a second plot also in every telenovela. Why? Because we writers, we need 600 of cliffhangers for every telenovela. So we have to invent two different plots, and my methodology adds a third plot that is the plot in which we are localizing the target group that we want to reinforce the value. Then, of course, there's going to be an enormous fight between the heroine and the villain, and a final change of fortune that is the foundation of a new order. And of course, we are going to have a new order. That's why the telenovela always is a foundational format, and it's talking all the time about the change of an archetypal image, let's say maiden, to how it's going to change into a wife. That's why in Latin America everybody says, oh, the telenovelas are talking all the time of the same things. And yes, they are talking all the time about how the people, the human beings, can change from a stadium to another stadium. Okay, characters are developed and a special plot is created for them. The third plot allows us to transmit the message in a dramatic representation without jeopardizing the popularity of the telenovela. In order to know the results of the EE effort, it is necessary to count with a series of research tests specially prepared. It should be based on the audience that watched the telenovela, contrasted with those who did not watch it, those who had the value already implanted, contrasted with those who acquired the value. All of it is clearly detailed in the books above mentioned. The existence of an infrastructure for the social change we are promoting is of vital importance. That is to say, there actually has to be an infrastructure for adult education in the whole area the telenovela is to be broadcast, so that those interested can go to family planning clinics for people to choose the proper approach. If there is no infrastructure, the outcome could be totally the opposite of what we are trying to achieve. The effort would render useless, and the audience would be vaccinated against the message. What is the use of talking someone into planning his or her family if she or he goes to the clinic and finds no one to help her or him? And this happens very often in the third world. Or an adult to finish his or her elementary schooling and goes to ask information, and there is none or even worse, the place doesn't not even exist. My methodology is based on uniting three basic pillars: communication theoreticians and scholars who design the effort from the cubicles and desk, professional, really professional radio TV producers who know how to deliver a successful audience format, and finally, researchers who will let us know qualitatively and quantitatively the results of the effort. If one is missing, my EE methodology is not complete. If there is no blueprint hypothesis to prove we do not know, what are we trying to achieve with the audience? If there is no good professional production, we run the risk of a flop when broadcast. And if there is no result research, we cannot know if we reach the objective. Telenovelas, by its mass audience nature, popularity, and most of all being a familiar format that is part of the daily household life, are really a motor for social change. What could be better that change be for the benefit of these communities and at the same time reach a balance between commercial rating and social benefit? And I want to signal here the enormous difference between an American soap opera that has a center. At the beginning, it was a mother, and now it's a hospital or whatever. And there are a lot of small plots around the same center. But the Latin American telenovela is totally different because it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And due to this structure, it is possible to plan the system of positive and negative reinforcement from Dr. Bandura. Let us not consider telenovela as a shallow format. We can use it to fight against poverty, to help adult education, to help family planning, to fight against domestic abuse and respect for our own body, and for family business, small family business. So let us not consider telenovela as a shallow format. Most of all, we have to understand that it's the best format to reach those large masses that are in need of a radical social change in their behavior for the planet to survive in these times of such huge social problems as extreme poverty, global warming, and lack of education in huge sectors of humankind. Being here today with a group of outstanding men and women from all over around the world to discuss the way in which we could help humankind threatened by all the dangers of this time makes me sure that all through these years I was accompanied, without knowing it, by the goodwill and good faith of human beings like you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Miguel. I'd like to go, your applause. I'd like to go way back with you to the 1960s when you were starting to do your first telenovelas. When and how did you find out that there's more to them than just entertainment and distraction?
Well, okay, my father was an Indian, an indigenous. In Mexico, you used to have castas. I don't know the word in English. Arvin, what is the name of castas in India? Okay. Okay. Well. Okay. So I was raised with a very intense social interest in Mexico and in the third world. That's why I began to try to find out. I am a professional. I'm a writer, and I am a producer and a director of cinema, television, and radio. So I was really interested. How can I be proud of my work? How can I be proud of not follow in the tonal degradation? Because, you know, in the third world, there is a phenomenon that tonal degradation, when in the third world you put in front one another two television stations, they trying to get more and more and more rating, they degrades the tone of the programming. And really, there are something so awful things in Peru, in Mexico, and many countries of the third world that they are trying to get the bigger rating, that I said when I was young, no, I don't want to do that. I think that you can have a balance between high ratings, and I'm very proud that my telenovelas had 32 points of ratings and a proven social effect. So I have been working for this my whole life, and well, fortunately, I could do it.